The 2016 Tour de Suisse was the 80th edition of the Tour de Suisse cycling stage race. It took place from 11 to June 19th as the 19th event of the 2016 UCI World Tour. It was won by Colombian cyclist Miguel Ángel López. As the Tour de Suisse is a UCI World Tour event, all 18 UCI Pro teams were invited automatically and obliged to enter a team into the race. 4 teams were also given wild-card places in the race. June 11, 2016, bar, 6.4 kilometers 4.0 miles individual time trial, ITT. June 12, 2016, bar to bar, 187.6 kilometers 116.6 miles. June 13, 2016, Grosswangen to Rheinfelden, 192.6 kilometers 119.7 miles. June 14, 2016, Rheinfelden to Champagne, 193 kilometers 120 miles. June 15, 2016, Briglis to Carry, 126.4 kilometers 78.5 miles. June 16, 2016, Wiesen to Anden, 162.8 kilometers 101.2 miles. June 17, 2016, Arbon to Solden, Austria, 224.3 kilometers 139.4 miles. June 18, 2016, Davos, 16.8 kilometers 10.4 miles individual time trial. June 19, 2016, La Punt to Davos, 57 kilometers 35 miles. In the Tour de Suisse, 3 different jerseys were awarded. For the general classification, calculated by adding each cyclist's finishing times on each stage, and the leader received a yellow jersey. This classification was considered the most important of the Tour de Suisse, and the winner of the classification was considered the winner of the race. There was also a mountains classification, the leadership of which was marked by a light blue jersey. In the mountains classification, points were won by reaching the top of a climb before other cyclists, with more points available for the higher categorized climbs. Our category gave 20 points to the first rider crossing, 20, 15, 10, 6, 4. A category 1 was worth 12 points, 12, 8, 6, 4, 2. A category 2 was worth 8 points, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. And a category 3 was worth 5 points, 5, 3, 2, 1. The third jersey represented the points classification, marked by a black jersey. In the points classification, cyclists got points for finishing highly in a stage. A stage victory awarded 10 points, with 8 points for second, 6 for third, 4 for fourth and 2 for fifth. Points could also be earned at intermediate sprints location for finishing in the top 3 during each stage on a 6-3-1 scale. There was also a classification for teams, in which the times of the best 3 cyclists per team on each stage were added together. The leading team at the end of the race was the team with the lowest total time. A combativity award was also attributed for the rider who had ridden the most aggressively in the eyes of the judges at the end of every stage. It could have been a rider who featured in breakaways or a cyclist who attacked often. Notes: in Stage 2, Jürgen Roelandts, who was second in the points classification, wore the black jersey, because Fabian Cancellara, in first place, wore the yellow jersey as leader of the general classification during that stage. Martin Elmiger, who was second in the Swiss rider classification, wore the red jersey, because Fabian Cancellara, in first place, wore the yellow jersey as leader of the overall classification during that stage. In Stage 3, Martin Elmiger, who was second in the Swiss rider classification, wore the red jersey, because Fabian Cancellara, in first place, wore the black jersey as leader of the points classification during that stage. In Stage 4, Fabian Cancellara, who was third in the points classification, wore the black jersey, because Peter Sagan, in first place, wore the yellow jersey as leader of the overall classification, and Sylvain Dellier, in second place, wore the red jersey as the leader of the Swiss rider classification during that stage. In Stage 5, Maximiliano Richis, who was second in the points classification, wore the black jersey, because Peter Sagan, in first place, wore the yellow jersey as leader of the overall classification during that stage.